Part 5 webinar with you tonight, and Ben may or may not pop in later on. So welcome everyone. First off, we want to acknowledge or do an acknowledgement of the country.
You need to click on the presentation.
Hang on a minute, just trying to find.
Come across more. This screen. Click.
Sorry, bit of a technical issue there. Welcome everyone. We'll just do an acknowledgement of country first. 30 Foot Drop acknowledges the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognises their continuing connection to land, waters and community. We pay our respects to them and their cultures, both to elders past and present. Government funding. 30 Foot Drop would like to acknowledge the Department of Communities Disability Services for funding this and many other initiatives. Without their support, so many projects such as Two Wise Monkeys would never see the light of day, and we'd be much more poorer for it. This workshop is part of a Realities and Advantages of Access and Inclusion grant, which was granted to 30 Foot Drop as part of the Information Linkages and Capacity Buildings for 2018 and 19. So, housekeeping. Unfortunately, we do not have the resources to monitor all of our live streams during these sessions. So if you want to ask any questions, just head over to our website, which is www.30footdrop.com.au/live. So if you head into there, there'll be a live box button at the top of the website. If you tap that live box, that will connect you to the chat box and you can ask any questions. So we'll be covering a lot of information in a short period of time. So we recommend that attendees try and minimise any distractions, because there's quite a lot of information we'll be going over. So it'd be good if there were no distractions for you. Also, please make sure that if you talk about us and want to share any of our webinars through social media, if you could please tag us in those, and that'll just help us get more exposure. Also, if you know anyone that might benefit from these webinars, please share our webinars and our Facebook and Instagram pages. So we've got pages on all of these platforms. We feel our knowledge and messages should be heard for everyone in future in the community. So we feel like it's an important message to share. We'll also be recording this session and posting it to the Vimeo library and to our website. So if you miss anything or you want to review it again later, you can find it on the website, and also on Facebook you can replay it too. We'll be referencing most of the information we talk about will be referenced also on our website, so you can head in there and go into the resources and then go into the resource. Sorry, is it going to the resources?
Yes. So go to if you head to solutions and then resources.
Okay, sorry. Head to solutions and then go to the resources, and you'll find everything that we've spoken about on this webinar and past webinars, all the information there. If you want to go through it or go over it, and if you have any questions, just send us a message. At the end of the seminar, we have a short survey, which would be really awesome if you guys could fill out. That just helps with feedback and everything else that we need to keep going. Also add your email if you are interested in any future webinars or workshops. Okay, so I am one of your wise monkeys. I'm Lisa and I am Hear No Evil. So I'll just tell you a little bit about my story. When I was 8, I was diagnosed with mild dyslexia. Teachers used to hit me on the head and read out my low marks and yell at me in front of all my classmates. Why don't you understand? What's wrong with you? Making me feel completely dumb and unworthy. But despite these challenges growing up, this only made me more determined to made me more determined to succeed and prove these teachers wrong. I have multiple diplomas in the arts field, one in counselling, and at present I have my own business. So I am Hear No Evil, and you will now no longer hear no evil about impairment through me. Now, who is the third monkey? That is a question for you guys. The third monkey, you guessed it, is you. The aim of today's workshop is to turn you into a wise monkey. You will begin on a journey of realising that impairment or not, we are all human and deserve to be acknowledged and treated just the same as anyone else. And sorry, I missed before, Ben is the other monkey. He is See No Evil, and he can come in and tell you another story on another webinar, or if you'd like to watch him, he's on the pages doing some webinars as well, and you can hear his story. So, outline and method. So how are we going to get you started on the path of a wise monkey? Well, there's a lot to learn about people with impairment and their potential impact on your business. First up, we're going to look at the most recent Australian research so that you can understand the size of the accessible tourism market in WA. This is an exciting market to learn about, and especially if you are watching right now today. This market has definitely been forgotten, so let's have a look at this lost market, and please, along the way, ask yourself, is your business meeting the needs of disability impairment tourism market? After this, we'll then break down the segment to examine the characteristics and habits of it. To finish off, we'll do an open forum and chat session, so any questions you want to ask at the end or even along the way, you can send them on through. Once again, head to www.30footdrop.com.au/live for those questions. Right, so how are we going to cover all this? What will our teaching method be? The answer is fun, experience, and open, honest discussion. Feel free, once again, to ask any questions, and none are off limits. We've probably heard them all before too. Just ask. You will notice that there's very little content written on the slides. That's because we're all here to interact with each other through questions and live chat box. Hopefully that all makes sense to everyone. So, terminology and review. To reduce confusion and ensure understanding, I want to review some of the terminology that we will be using in this session. So first up is the difference between disability and impairment. An impairment is an injury, illness, or congenital condition that causes or is likely to cause a loss or difference of physiological and psychological function. In short, an impairment is your medical diagnosis. So my medical impairment is mild dyslexia. A disability, on the other hand, is the loss or limitation of opportunities to take part in society on an equal level with others due to social and environmental barriers. It is, as the word implies, something that makes you unable to access or participate in something. So my example of that would be too much wording, too much information, or stylized script can make it hard for people with dyslexia to understand, which then makes it hard for us to get the right information needed to use your service. This is especially important information to remember because some impairments like mine are hidden, so there's a whole lot of people out there that are missing out on your service, possibly because they're not understanding it. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. The next is the difference between access and inclusion. So, access refers to the removal or reduction of physical barriers to participate in the activities and functions of a community. At its core, Access focuses a lot on the physical world around us and is easily assessed with a checklist. Inclusion, on the other hand, is more of a physiological state of being and is a process hereby every person, irrespective of age, disability, gender, religion, sexual preference, or nationality, who wishes to and can participate fully in all aspects of an activity or service in the same way as every other member in the community. So it's just helping those people to feel included in everything else that we all do together as a community. Hopefully this all makes sense. If this doesn't, please head over to the website and send me any questions. Once again, that one is www.30footdrop.com.au/live. So head into the live box, which will take you to the chat box, and you can type away any questions. Okay. Next is Southwest Tourism Stats Overview. The following stats have been taken from the Southwest 2017 Visitor Fact Sheet, as well as the economic contribution of tourism in Western Australia's tourism regions produced by Tourism WA. That is a mouthful. Both stats information are found in the resource library. During 3 years from 2014 to 2016, our region had an average of 2.49 million overnight visitors. This did not include day trippers. Huge. Every visitor stayed on average 3.6 nights. The direct and indirect contribution to the South region in 2016 and 17 was 14%. And tourism, did you know, accounts for 1 in 5 people employed in this region. Huge. Okay. Next we have Accessible Tourism Market. The following stats have come from a report called Accessible Tourism Victoria and Queensland, done by Tourism Research Australia in conjunction with each state's tourism departments. Unfortunately, though, we have no research has actually been done in WA, but this report focuses on Australia as a whole. So it only looks at the domestic market, so these numbers are likely to be higher if you include the international visitors, which is crazy. Due to the similarities, though, between the Southwest tourism market and those of New South Wales and Queensland, we have extracted the findings to calculate the following information. So this study estimated that the size of the accessible tourism market for overnight or day trips is 7%, about 1.3 million people Australia-wide, equating to 150,000 people in WA alone. The thing is, with this 7%, most of us rarely holiday alone, with an average party of 2.45 for overnight travel and 2.62 for day trips, bringing this figure now to 17%, or 390,000 in WA. So all of these people are requiring accessible tourism experiences and services. So once again, ask yourself, is your business accessible for these people? The estimated annual expenditure for this segment comes to approximately 8 billion Australia-wide, which equates to 916 million WA-wide, and 163 million here in the Southwest. That is a lot of potential for your business. Something to think about. Right, okay, so now is the unserved market. This report noted that there is a segment of Australians with an impairment, including adults caring for a child with an impairment who are not currently travelling, which is just so sad. But they would travel with certain industry improvements in accommodation, transport, and current technologies. In WA, the segment is estimated at 34,000 people, which is approximately 225 million WA-wide. This represents a large boost when you consider the current size is 163 million. Okay. Now we'll head over to understanding the market. And once again, if you have any questions, just head over to the website www.30footdrop.com.au/live. So if you haven't understood anything I've said, just head over to the website, hit the live box and hit the chat box and send me a question. I might just check and make sure that nobody's sent any.
Go down to Q&A.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
Nothing? No questions? Okay then. Right. Understanding the market. So we know that there is a market segment of people with impairment that can be tapped into by tourism and events businesses. Let's now have a look at their needs. So we can best understand them. It's not, sorry, it's just,
So here we go. Click on it. Yep, you have. No,
yeah.
And again.
Oh, there we are, sorry. Okay, let's have a look at their needs and how you can best serve them. Although people with impairment generally have lower incomes than the average population as a whole, they should not be considered low income. More than 1/4 of those who identified as having an impairment were in the top 2 income categories, which means they had a disposable income of over $900 per week. In the Accessible Tourism Survey, they found that approximately 55% of the segment had a mobility issue. This included people that use mobility devices and those that have difficulty moving more than a short distance. Of those in the segment that do not travel, 23% was because it was just too stressful, and the other 22% was because it was just too hard. Like most Australians, people in this segment travel for leisure, but it was noted that visits to friends and relatives were often preferred because of knowing the layout of the accommodation, which helped with planning and resulted in a less stressful trip. So all those people that could have been coming to your business are choosing to go to family and friends because maybe your business doesn't have the support that they need, but I'm sure they would much prefer to come and visit you. Okay, travellers with impairment share many characteristics with the broader population. The tools used in this decision making were just the same as the wider population, with internet search coming in first and word of mouth second. Reconnection and unwinding are core needs for all Australian travellers, and this was just as true for travellers with an impairment. Approximately 40% of travellers with an impairment sought those needs through either more active, emotionally or intellectually stimulating experiences. So that stat just highlights to us that we all just want and need the same thing, and we all just want to feel included in your business. Although travellers with an impairment did slightly fewer activities, many of these experiences they participated in matched those of the broader population, doing things like going out for dinner, visits to the beach, nature, cultural experiences. All the same. Overall, they tended to stay in the same types of accommodation and visit the same destinations as the broader population. And out of these visitors, only 14% were over 65. So that makes it really interesting. And just shows that there are a lot more people out there needing your business. It's not just the older population. There are many families and people who I'm sure would love to come and visit your business, but because of these limitations, they feel like they may not be able to. So I hope that all made sense. It's quite a quick webinar, and hopefully I didn't rush over it quite fast. If you do have any questions, or I did rush it a bit, just head over to our website and ask any questions. Thanks for joining me. Now, we'd like to invite you to please come and chat with us. So head to the chat box on the website, which is again www.30footdrop.com.au/live. That's also a mouthful. Feel free to ask any questions, and remember that none are off limits. I'll give you guys 5 minutes, so I will be back at let's say 6:30 to answer any questions. So we will see you soon.
So on the left-hand side, the one that says questions.
See you soon. Oh, sorry, I'll just say, if you need to go, that's fine. If you wanted to rewatch it later, you can. But if you did want to go, please head to the website, and at the bottom of the video, there's the survey. So just hit webinar part 5, and if you could fill out the survey, that'd be great. Thank you. See you soon. Welcome back. So you guys are all pretty shy tonight and there's no questions. So in saying that, we will let you go and have your dinner and carry on with your night. But thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope it all made sense to you. Just before you go though, if you could head over to the webpage www.30footdrop.com.au/live and fill out the part 5 survey. That will be great. It's really important to get feedback from you guys. But yeah, thanks for joining me tonight, and I'll be back tomorrow night to do part 6, and Ben will be back in the morning to do the part 6 in the morning. So if you wanted to see him, head over then, or you'll see me tomorrow night. Okay, good night.